Welcome to CATtheMinion YouTube channel. My name is Teresa, but you can call me Cat. Whew, I don't know why I'm out of breath. Okay, it's like extra focusing in on the camera. This is gonna be a bonus reading for Sagittarius for May. The last time I checked, Sagittarius had the most views. I put the astrological monthlies up 4 days before the beginning of the month, and I checked it like the 1st or the 2nd. I want to say it was the 2nd when I checked it, and I think I was looking at maybe 35 for Sagittarius. Now, I did find out after I did those readings that Jupiter is moving into Pisces, I believe around the 13th. Something like that. I haven't really looked at it in detail, but Jupiter is moving. So Saturn should still be in Aquarius, and then Jupiter heading into Pisces. And people are saying it's the, it is technically the planet of luck. It's the ruler of Sagittarius. Sort of, what does that mean? Is it like that Laverne and Shirley's theme song there, make all your dreams come true or something? But I think there's been a lot going on with Piscean energy for a couple of months. My dreams have been off the rails lately, but I mean, I do have a Sagittarius stellium, so this is probably going to be kicking my own ass. So the reading that I'm doing for this bonus is my general inquiry reading, which I actually haven't done in a long time. So we have a card for an overview, a card for advice from an oracle, and then I have tarot for the meat and potatoes of the reading. So this is my Morgan Greer deck, and this is the Blessed Bee deck by Lucy Cavendish. I have not used this in a while. To any great extent. I really wanted to use the Rebecca Campbell combined oracle deck, and I'm like, you just used it for all of the monthlies, so I had to find a different oracle deck that I haven't used for 12 readings in the last couple weeks. So the Morgan Greer. So I have a past, present, potential future. Again, timelines have been kind of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey lately, and I think we're starting to get to a point where the timelines are going to be less vague. Although Sagittarian energy is an expansion that sort of goes in a direction, and it's kind of like whatever's been suppressed in your subconscious is kind of escaping, right? The princess in the castle of your imprisoned subconscious has taken a bow and arrow and tied a note to the arrow and slung shot? I think that sounds like a good past part whatever. I learned the tenses of verbs in French, so I get really confused. I'm like, it's the plus que parfait, and I'm like, no. Anyway, past. Slungshot the arrow out of the castle window with a note on it that says, "Help me, I'm in the tower." And then, the universe is like, hey, wait a goddamn second. This person's ready to crack open their subconscious, and this huge, where the arrow lands, like a huge fault line opens up and breaks the castle walls, and it's come trouncing out with your grand life plan. You're like, oh, I knew I put that somewhere. Hopefully that made sense. I also learned the parts of a cathedral in French, so I get confused by that too. Okay, so anyway, past, present, hope, potentially solidifying timeline for the future or near future. And again, it could be recent past, it could be a week ago, or it could be 5 or 10 years ago. But this is sort of the right now, and this is all the way into the future in the year 2000. In the year 2000. And I have 4 columns here because I have Wands energy, Cups energy, Swords energy, and Pentacles, right? So we have the core drive, gut instincts, emotions and or downloads, thoughts, perceptions, communications, and resources, the physical body, and so on. Now that I've been going for 6 minutes, I can get into the reading. So I said what these are. My brain is repeating plus que parfait in my head it's a broken record. Okay. A blessing to find the truth coming in inverted. $25. Okay, I feel like she's the High Priestess. And the 5 is alluding to the Hierophant. This could break down to 7, which would be the Chariot, indicating moon energy, because it just looks like there's a moon here. High Priestess, traditionally the moon, although I associate her with Pisces. Inverted, it does give me like more of going deep into the subconscious. It's like malignant emotional programming. Trauma triggers that make it difficult to see what people are really doing. But the way to overcome it is for grounding. There's trees on the edge here. Okay. So again, this is for Sagittarius. So let's see what's going on in the past in this Wands energy. Oh, it's like, where's my cheat sheet? I haven't even used this in a while. Cheat sheet. Temperance. Apparently inverted. Sort of a way to walk into your own reading. Out of balance. Double 7, 14. This is actually really matchy-matchy with this, because the Temperance Angel is usually depicted as female, although here it's a dude with kind of a fucked up haircut. Doesn't really matter. Temperance Angel. Basically say doubling down on this information in the past. My emotions are not in balance with my desire to move forward. 14 breaks down to 5, which is a shift or a pivot though. Right? I'm trying to get to the Hierophant. But the thing is that the High Priestess should be a part of the Hierophant, with the other component being the Empress, which would be the more Venusian Taurian energy, union of spiritual and physical. And the High Priestess would be the higher vibration of justice, which would be the truth, which is probably why she's separate, right? It's like, it doesn't matter if my spirituality and my physicality are in balance, because I'm not going anywhere, because I can't figure out which direction to go in, because there's no justice happening. Let's look what's in the past in the emotions, because this is where the issue is. 7 of Wands. Traditionally Mars in Leo. Although I've reassigned it Pluto in Leo. There's a golden solar center energy. This is giving me more of like I've got a lump in my throat, or it's like I've got indigestion. It makes me feel sick to my stomach to let anybody into my emotional space. I've always been in a position of constantly defending myself, but we're in a 7 here again. 7 and 7, 14. Right? It's like I'm trying to defend my emotional sanctuary on shaky ground. And what did I say? When the princess shoots the arrow out, it doesn't have to be a girl, right? It could be Prince Herbert. It doesn't matter. Where it lands in the ground, a fault line opens up. This is what this is, right? Where was I getting that vision from? I was going somewhere. I was seeing, like, I'm trying to defend my emotional position while the whole ground around me is like a volcano trying to erupt. Like, the lava cracking open and stuff. Okay, swords. So the tower inverted. This is too much. Okay. This is Martian energy. This is fire. This could be Martian energy, but it's like the plutonic energy is scorpionic, but what it is like the underworld, like in Hades, right? Why am I on such shaky lava? Because you're inside, you're already inside the earth, right? You're like in a mine. It's reminding me of this movie that I saw that was not that good. It's called Dragon something or other, and who was the guy in it? Christian Bale and like Matthew McConaughey, and Christian Bale's mother was killed working in like an underground mine thing because they dug through into this dragon cave and it came out and like melted everybody. I don't even know what that was called. The tower inverted in the swords column for the past is indicating this perception, this communication, this thoughts. Everything is crumbling. Everything's coming down. We have a 16. That breaks down to 7 again. Right? What is this? 777? That's tilt. That's the Wheel of Fortune. Jackpot. What's being destroyed is an internal structure. Right? The princess isn't going to be up in the goddamn tower anymore. She's like, I'm busting out of here. Right? And again, it's a metaphorical princess. It's like everything that I've known has kept me blocked in. It's the trauma, the emotional persecution, whether feeling emotionally persecuted, it's coming to an end. Right? It's like, even though this looks very unempowered, I'm taking back control. What is missing here is the Empress, right? She holds the power of abundance on Earth. So let's see what's in the previously in Pentacles, right? The physical body, resources, manifestation. We have an 8. So we moved on from 7s, and now we've got the 8 of Pentacles. I'm hearing she works hard for the money. She works hard for it, honey. these cards are all showing masculine figures. Although this one looks like it has one of each on the tower. Doesn't really matter. Everybody has both. But this is like, I'm working so hard. I've got my nose to the grindstone. All while dealing with this emotional turmoil, right? I'm working hard. Why isn't anything happening? I guess I'll just keep working harder. Like, what the hell? You know, it's like, don't come in here. I'm not done yet. Put me back in the oven. I'm still tacky. The Sun in Virgo. The Sun in Virgo is like... It's a little bit like the hero rescuing the princess. But in this case, I'm doing this like massive overhaul on my own inner child. That's what that princess represents, is that Virgo energy of repression and feeling not allowed to grow up all the way. Right? How can I be a member of the court if I'm not even allowed to be a page and I have to sit at the kiddie table, either in terms of resources or communication or emotions? Like, you can't come in here. Right? You have to be this tall to ride the ride. Let's look at what's going on in the present. Sagittarius. Wands energy. The Sun. So there's the Sun outright. Completely solar. Here's the masculine and feminine halves of the inner child. Leo energy. This is the third Leo energy. There is an illumination, right? It's like if Neptunian energy has to do with the subconscious and dreams, what happens when you shoot a flaming arrow into that? Right? It's like turning on a light. It's like a UFO landing on the White House lawn. That's the kind of energy. It's like, this is my dark night of the soul. And here we are after falling out of the tower. This is what's left of it, and the sun is shining, but the ice is slippery. Right? I don't want to be sick to my stomach when I have emotions. I want to feel happy and like I'm allowed to be who I am inside. The sun here, it's like looking into a gateway into the sacral chakra from the solar chakra. Perfectly round orange. Like, I feel secure and creative. Let's look at emotions in the present. The Ace of Rods. Look at this. Walk softly and carry a big stick. One of the aspects of the Ace of Wands is summer energy. And you think of summer and you think of the sun, at least in the northern hemisphere. Well, summer in the southern hemisphere is just 6 months later. So either way, summer is when the sun is out there and the leaves are green and all that. This is like, no, like, people think they can pick on me and beat me down. And this is like, I'm becoming so secure of myself that, like, people think they're gonna come for me, but that, whatever. you can't manipulate someone who's in their own power. The furnace has been heated. Right? It's like, once I broke out of the tower, I realized I could use a whole tree to fight people off, not just some bullshit stick that got left in the corner of the room. Let's see what the sword's energy is in the present. 5 of Wands. This is like, come at me, bro. Right? I don't have to put up with your crap anymore emotionally. So the current communication might be like, I will fight a bitch. But this is a 5. This is a shift or a pivot. Right? In terms of fight or flight, it's not like, no, don't. This is like, don't try me. What's the energy there? Traditionally Saturn in Leo, but I've switched it to Neptune. The thoughts. See, it's like, what's going on here is like, now that you've sort of come into your own, it's like, man, if back then I was like in this mindset now, I would so not let people walk all over me. So be like, what are you doing over there? Like, you're not allowed to feel that. You know, go sit and be quiet. Do what I tell you. Give me all of your resources and time. You're not allowed to dislike anything that I say or do. And it's like in your head, like, man, if they did that to me now, I would fuck them up. You know? Some of this, though, is actually a healing. It's not just like, oh, man, if I was me back then, I would have... Like, some of the ways to repair this, the subconscious is to go through traumatic memories and be the adult in the memory for your inner child, right? You go through the memory and you imagine confronting the aggressor to the inner child, right? It's like, when I was 7 and this person, you know, yelled at me and made me cry and then, you know, told me I was fat but then only bought junk food for me. Now I have a complex. I'm going to go in and be like, look, this kid needs vegetables. If you want this kid to exercise, don't just yell at them to be less fat. Go and, like, play with them outside. Teach them how to do activities where they enjoy it, where they're moving around. It's not just, you know, don't just gaslight people. So you go into the memory and you're like, you play the role of a mediator or a protector, like a savior of your own inner child. You go in and be like, hey, wait a minute, you can't do that. That's abuse. And that's where this combat comes in. I'm shifting the energy of the thoughts because I no longer held prisoner by them. So this work in this, like, glorious sunlight and this, like, like, I am the king of my own vessel, still has this aspect of healing through, like, righteous anger of trauma that's been subverted completely into the subconscious, like stuff that you didn't even remember until like 2 days ago. And that's how to work through it, is to not be trying to hold it at bay, but to come at it as problem solution, like problem solving, creative problem solving. And it's not like I'm fighting my ego, it's like I'm I'm looking for the root of this cancer. I know cancer doesn't really have roots, but it's like I'm looking for the root of this weed that is trauma in my subconscious. So physically in the present, Sagittarius, nap time, Four of Swords, Sword of Truth hanging outside the castle wall, right? They might think you're still, it's like they thought I was still up in the castle wall, but what they don't realize is that I put a suit of armor under my sheet and covered it up, and they thought I was still there. Meanwhile, I, fucked off into the woods and got my Ace of Wands. This is a low vibration of the Hanged Man. It means I'm getting my downloads from the universe. Four of Swords energy comes in traditionally Jupiter in Libra. Although I did reassign it Neptune in Libra, but it doesn't really matter right now because Jupiter is in Pisces. Neptune is also in Pisces. But what's going on here is justice has started to sort of sniff out the situation. Right? It's like I might not have my full 11 justice or my full Queen of Swords justice, and I might not get that 2 High Priestess yet, but the universe is communicating with me, and the truth is starting to shake free of its little rock out there in the woods. So in terms of the body, because this is where this is, it's like these cellular memories, these engrams are starting to flow out of my body. And because I'm doing a lot of internal work, it's like the stress level is coming down. Right? It's like it's hard to sleep and relax when you're constantly anxious, constantly worrying when someone's gonna stab you in the back, physically, mentally, whatever. It's if you deal with somebody who's like aggressive, manipulative, physically violent, or gaslights you on any regular basis, you end up being on high alert, like those herd animals. There's always one who's just like 20% of the population is like naturally more anxious because they end up being the lookouts for the whole group. They're like, man, I bet there's a noise out here. And then, not like the 5th time, they're like, oh, I bet there's a noise out here. There is a noise out there and it's a predator. And because of their anxiety, they've now rescued the whole group. That's what that energy comes from. But as the mental battle yields more towards your favor, you'll find that the physical body will need the rest also. And this is really hard for me right now because I've had many days where I feel like I'm not doing anything. I'm like, I've got to do this project. I've got to do this part of the work. I've got to record this. I've got to, do that. And I ended up just playing my video game for like 4 days. And like flapping around, and then I got tired and I took naps. And it's required to heal your whole energy field. It has to do with the energy resources in the whole body. When your mental field shifts, your body releases a lot of tension, right? You have to process all the cortisol. Your body starts flushing. The stuff that was held up in your solar chakra, in your intestines, starts coming out. The lactic acid in your muscles has to come out, and the physical rest is necessary while you're still swords energy thinking about what you've released. Okay, so let's look at this future energy here. Wands. King of Pentacles inverted. I'm not quite sure what that's doing yet. We do have this golden energy here. Why is he giving me Taurus? I mean, he is Aries and Taurus. 14 breaking down to a 5, which is a shift or a pivot, which is coming back to this energy up here, that 5 inverted. I feel like this is saying I'm not going to, I don't want to stay in a pattern where it says you have to be king of everyone else around you. Right? Nobody has to answer. I don't want people answering to me like I'm all high and mighty. That's what I'm getting here. Right? It's like I'm not going to continue a pattern where my ego says everyone has to kiss my ass in order for me to feel good. Right? It stops with me. So we have judgment. Also very solar here. 20. Right? My masculine energy, my feminine energy, and my inner child here is pretty sweet. A lot of the times the Sun card has this same little kid on it riding naked on a horse, but here they're slightly older children, and there's masculine and feminine here. It's sort of like a neuter child, which is fine, right? The inner child is unified. Because the inner child is the higher self in disguise. But your avatar is still separated into masculine and feminine duality. The judgment here in the emotions is I've completed a cycle. I've finally finished this book. I passed this course. I can go on to the next level next semester, right? It's like I finished advanced geometry, now I can do advanced algebra 2. I don't have to take trig. Judgment is fire energy, but it's actually plutonic. We're just talking about being like inside a volcano here. Plutonic energy is the underworld, right? It's hell. At least that's kind of what Christianity's hell ripped off from, right? Hades, where the god Hades, aka Pluto in Roman mythology, would administer to the dead in his judging seat near the river of Styx, the river of fire. And I believe that would be the river Styx right behind here, because there's water. At least it looks like water. So this is like an emotional release, right? I don't have to repeat this cycle anymore. I failed it twice, I finally passed. I can graduate now. So look at the future swords energy. The moon. God damn, this moon is huge. With the sun here and the moon here, it's almost like an eclipse. So is it the sun in Cancer, or is it the moon in Leo? When was the... Wait. What was the moon we just had? Was it a full moon in Scorpio? Did we have the new moon in Leo yet? I don't remember. These are looking at each other. The moon is like secrets. It's like by completing this chapter, I'm clearing out things that have been repressed. I am no longer afraid of the dark. I can see easier in the dark. What did I get as a graduation present? My night vision goggles. I can see people coming in with this bullshit that I just learned how to get through from a mile away. $18. Now, the moon card is traditionally ruled by Pisces, which makes no sense, and I think it's stupid, because the moon card should be ruled by Cancer. But in this case, it's sort of linking back to this inverted high priestess here. Right? It's like I'm still working on getting this justice. But it's like I've seen the light, and it's like it's on the other person or people involved to own up to their own dirty deeds, right? Done dirt cheap. But again, mostly it's like I have night vision goggles now. I can see your darkness coming a mile away. You know, don't come up in my face with your blasphemy kind of stuff. Let's look at the physical body. The Knight of Cups. Alright. It's like now that my heart is healed, I'm able to manifest an emotional... I'm coming out into the world to manifest what is fulfilling emotionally in the future. Coming directly under this Knight of Swords. I mean, not Knight of Swords. Four of Swords. Low vibration of the Hanged Man. Any knight for me is a 12. Is the Hanged Man inverted, right? I've gotten my download and I've woken up. Right? And it doesn't matter when I wake up because now I can see in the dark anyway. It makes it easier for me to... I have more equipment to go out into the world with my emotions in somewhat vulnerability, and the only card in here with any emotional content whatsoever. Knight of Cups energy. So the Knight of Cups energy, Aquarius and Pisces. Right? The Aquarian energy has to do with the collective consciousness. And then the Piscean energy, again, this like subconscious. It's like the way that people communicate their emotions to each other are changing, and Sagittarius has to go through this certain, I almost said hellscape, trial by fire. Right? It's like I don't want to be fulfilled by material possessions or power. What makes me happy? I'm searching out something emotionally satisfying. Because I've woken up to the fact that this is where my connection to self and the universe is. What is the moon? Emotions. I just got emotions in motion. That's Billy Squire. And we got a little bit of Freddie, and I think Roger too. Freddie Mercury and Roger Taylor singing backup on that song. Emotions in motion. Especially with all these sevens. So I suggest listening to that song. Emotions, emotions. Alright, so let's look at this wrap-up card here. A blessing for peace of mind. Confusion or delay. Look at all this purple energy. Third eye popping off here. We have some more bird friends. This is very much giving me moon energy, though. I just heard by the light of the night it'll all be alright. That's from Rocky Horror. crows, like, ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. They're jewels, though. What is this energy giving me? 32. The Empress and the High Priestess breaking down to 5, a shift or a pivot. It's like I haven't quite gotten all the way to the truth and nothing but the truth. But this journey is taking me, like, through the night, has gotten me back to where I need to be to find this Empress energy. There's a grounding. The Empress rules Libra. So what do you have? I'm on the precipice of accessing grounding and justice, fairness, equality, the threshold of good and evil, the balance of light and dark within me is starting to come together. Now, this might be inverted, a blessing for peace of mind, because you spent so long being paranoid, it doesn't feel right to just sit in the twilight there, or the sunrise, and hang out. And it's sort of dependent on this energy. You know, are you say, like, I'm in my own power and I can sit and feel the vibes of the universe. Here, with it coming in inverted, it's like, am I allowed to do this? Is this okay? Like, ooh. Like, is somebody gonna yell at me for taking a day off? You know, because of this. Like, everything came so difficult, and I had to work harder and harder, I thought, that it seems wrong to just let the energy flow through me in order for healing to occur. But part of Sagittarius energy has to do with fueling the flame to dip the arrows in. And when you start a fire, you have to wait for a critical mass to be reached before the kindling just kind of bursts into flames, and you get enough heat mass and coals built up for bigger logs to burn. And what I mean with that is that for Sagittarius to have experienced their kind of expansion, there is a period where it feels like you're just not doing anything. Right? Why is this taking so long? Because the whole thing has to heat through, right? There has to be a critical mass, or in this case, the energy pattern has to reach alignment, right? It's like the cosmic wheels in the Swiss time. So that's what's going on there. Emotional overhaul for Sagittarius. All right, so hopefully that's useful. If you'd like to get a personal reading, I have the list in the description box underneath this video. I did spent a whole day, finally, after a year and a half, making a rudimentary website. It's the best I can do right now, given my skill level and financial level at this point. But if you do go to my website, there is a page that has little thumbnail pictures of the spreads, and it's exactly the same information that's in the description box. just in color. And then there's a playlist. God, that looks awful. There's a playlist. Try it this way. That's better. I have a playlist that's readings for sale samples, so you can see them. This was the general inquiry. So that's CATtheMinion.wordpress.com, because I can't afford the domain name right now. And it's through the link tree, just like everything else. So they all go to the same places: PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Cafe Press, DeviantArt, Etsy. I did in the in my little WordPress page for the readings. There's a link at the top of the page if you scroll around and find the hidden text, or if you scroll down the first page, there's a link in pink to it further down in the little blurbs. But I listed the chapbook packs because it's kind of an extension of a reading. It's like a little synchronicity stimulus packet. It's like, you know, getting a couple cards and there's pictures and writing and stuff on them. So that's what that is. I think that's it. I'm still trying to work on my new advertising system as well. It takes me like 2 hours to make a new panel with sub panels, and I've had other stuff to do, so I'm falling behind on that a little bit. I think that's it. I feel like I should say more stuff, but I don't really have anything. I've got merch prints, actual art items, a couple of spare doll parts for sale, stuff like this, and drawings, paintings, watercolor, etching, a couple of plushies. Oh, and I haven't put it on eBay yet. I was offering it to people that watch me on YouTube. If you were over in my Adventures with Plastic Crack playlist, I've got some Barbie Totally Hair Dep accessory gel tubes from 1992 that I'm looking to offload. So if you want them before I throw them up on eBay, check out that playlist and video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Check out my playlists tab, my discussion tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.